What's up, everybody, and welcome to a Thursday edition of Morning Cuppa Hockey presented by Bet365. We've got a loaded show for you today. I am not David Pagnotta. That's Colby Cohen. I'm Jonny Lazarus. -1 for Vic already off the bat to start today's show. We do have a great show for you today. We got Guy Gadowsky, the head coach of Penn State hockey, joining in around 15 minutes to talk about the team that he is bringing over to Switzerland for the Spengler Cup. We're going to announce, or he's going to announce, two of the newest players that are added to the previous 10 that are already announced on the roster. And then we'll catch up with Ray Ferraro at 9:30 and ask about some different topics that he finds interesting so far at the start of the NHL season. So a lot to get into today. But first, Colby, I have a question for you. And it's not how's your morning. It's if you watched the one game last night, the Columbus Blue Jackets against the Toronto Maple Leafs, it was a pretty significant shit kicking, I'd say, as far as Columbus goes. And John Buccigross tweeted right after the game, the Columbus Blue Jackets will make the playoffs. So I want to ask you right off the bat, yes or no, do you agree?
That is quite an interesting way to start the show this morning, Jonny. So thank you for doing that. Do I think the Columbus Blue Jackets will make the playoffs this season? I do not actually think that the Columbus Blue Jackets will make the playoffs this season. Do you think that the Columbus Blue Jackets will make the playoffs this season?
It's funny the way you said it. I also don't. I do think they're fun. I think they're exciting, but the goaltending and the consistency, that's the one area that I feel like Columbus has always struggled in. Obviously, Merzlikins has been fine. Jack Reeves has been fine. Jack Reeves has actually been pretty good, but I don't know. There's just something about Columbus, and maybe it's just like the preconceived notions and recency bias that I don't feel like they will. But granted, like the start of this year so far in the Met has been a little bit interesting and bizarre, and same with the Atlantic division. I mean, the Atlantic division feels like it's kind of upside down from what we've seen in previous years, right? Like Boston and Tampa are the bottom two, and Montreal and Detroit are the top two right now. Like, granted, things have changed, but 3 years ago, would you have ever believed that this would be the case?
No, I wouldn't have. And look, I guess it really comes down to the belief you have when looking at the Flyers, for example. And what do we think are one of those teams going to sneak into a wild card? Yes. Do I think the Washington Capitals will still be a playoff team this year? Yes. Okay. I'm not as high on them as I was last season. But I do still look at them as a playoff team. But look, there are numerous teams right now outside the playoff bubble that are teams that we all expected to be in the playoffs. So, are we writing off New York and Tampa for good this season? I mean, Toronto's not in a wild card spot, albeit by 1 point. Ottawa's not even in a wild card spot right now. I mean, is this another year where, the Atlantic division is going to end up, with 5 teams? I mean, or 4 teams, I would say at least 4 teams, right? I mean, I think that's probably a pretty likely scenario, Jonny. And again, like, do we think Detroit will continue on the pace that they continue on, or will they be, one of these teams? Like, look, it's fun to pile on the Toronto Maple Leafs right now, especially because of Vic. I mean, like, that is as enjoyable as piling on the New York Rangers. But I still can't imagine a team with that type of talent and goaltending, because they do have goaltending. Again, they didn't get it last night. Caden Primo, left a lot to be desired last night in the way that he played, but I still can't. Are we really going to be sitting here in April with the Maple Leafs looking on the outside, looking in? Like, I still have a hard time coming to terms with that, as entertaining as it would be.
Yeah. So that's something I would argue. And obviously things are different because divisions, but I would say I'm more confident that Columbus would make the playoffs over Toronto through the first 10 games or 11 games, whatever it is. Like, watching that game last night and watching, more of the Leafs than I do of Columbus, to be honest. Like, the Maple Leafs have been a crapshoot as for what you're going to get each night. And last night, the way you can look at it both ways, the way Columbus got up the ice, the poor way that Toronto backtracked. There were so many goals last night where you're sitting there scratching your head, like, how did Columbus beat this many forwards up the ice? Like where are the Toronto forwards in the back check? Here's one of them, but this is just completely different. I mean, Olivier cross checks Maccelli in the face, and then the Columbus Blue Jackets go down 5-on-2, and Zacharinsky does his thing. I mean, that's kind of a one-off, but that's what it felt like all night. And I'm not saying Olivier should have gotten a penalty, but like Maccelli's just standing there waiting for the puck. Like, obviously you're going to get hit. But it just felt like the Blue Jackets were skating circles around them last night.
Important to note, no Willie Nylander last night either, right?
That's
so
true.
You're missing, your guy. But I still look at Toronto down the middle at Matthews, Tavares, Waugh, Domi. And I know Domi has shifted from wing to center to wing, and they've tried him in the top six. And I don't know. Like I just, I guess I have too much belief in I don't think it's too much belief, but I'm not off the like, I still think John Tavares is I mean, if he's your second line center, like, I think you're in a good spot as a hockey team. I really do. Even at his age, his details, I think Matthew Nyes is a hell of a player who has been probably gripping it a little tight. And I think the Olympics maybe could be weighing on him. I just think that's human nature. I think like the Olympics and playing for your country is like the one thing, like, these guys get to the NHL. They're used to being the best players. They're playing in front of 20,000 every night. They're used to the criticism. They're used to the, everything that comes with being a professional athlete. The one little carrot, Johnny, that still puts butterflies on players at this level is wearing that sweater to represent your country. It's the one thing, right? These guys have all done World Juniors. They've played in playoff games in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They've, some of them have now played in the Four Nations. But it's just, man, there's something about once you throw on those country colors and you have the pressure of the country colors, it just, man, it makes $12 million guys, it makes $8 million all-stars in the NHL feel tense. And I think that you could be witnessing that. Remember, we saw it last year with guys that were vying for spots in the Four Nations Cup, and we saw how different they were. Tage Thompson, remember the weight that came off his shoulders once he found out he wasn't going? Cole Caulfield, same thing. Those guys went on absolute tears. And so, I do think these are human beings, right? And some guys manage it better than others. But I think that this is weighing on a lot of players individually. I really do.
Yeah. Well, that's a good transition because Guy Gadowsky is waiting. So we do want to get to the head coach of Penn State. And more importantly, right now, what we're talking about is the head coach of the U.S. College Selects team for the Spengler Cup, something that's never been done before. So very excited to hear from Coach Gadowsky right now. But before we bring him on, just want to give a quick word from our sponsor, Bauer. This segment will be a presentation of Bauer and the Bauer Pulse, the first Bauer stick to feature their latest kick point innovation. Powered by two distinct energy zones in the shaft, the stick is designed to adapt to your game with the loadability and precision of a mid kick and the explosive, unexpected release of a low kick. Catch goaltenders by surprise with a quick shot they'll never see coming, or make dynamic plays in the zone that will have defenders scrambling. Combine all that with a new raised grip ink on the shaft, and the Pulse will stay in your hands while you put the game in your hands. Exclusive to Bauer Hockey, the Pulse contains ultra lightweight and rigid Boron fiber material, which creates a high strength to weight ratio and optimizes energy storage and increases reactivity. Featured on 40 flex sticks and above, the Bauer Pulse launched on October 17th. And for more information, you can check out Bauer.com. With that, let's bring on the head coach of Penn State, the head coach of the U.S. College Selects team, Guy Gadowsky. Coach, how you doing?
Hey, really good. Thanks for having me. How are you guys?
We're good. Colby seems excited about something. I just want to hand it over to him. Colby, what's the wow about?
I got to tell you, the advertisement that you just read for Bauer Hockey on that hockey stick, I mean, does that thing drive you to practice as well and sharpen your skates? That was quite a mouthful, Johnny. That was impressive, buddy. I'm always proud to see that UMass Mercyhurst education of yours come through with the ad reads. But Guy, listen, it's great to have you on here. We know you're busy. You're in the middle of coaching the Penn State Nittany Lions right now, which you guys are off to a good start this season. And boy, there's a lot of great buzz around your program ever since the Frozen Four last year. But the reason that we brought you on today was really not to focus on your Nittany Lions, and we don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but this team that you've been chosen to be the head coach of, this U.S. Collegiate Selects team that's going to the Spengler Cup, one of the most historic events in the game of hockey. You've been tasked to lead that team, and I just wonder, like, how is that going for you, and what's that been like for you?
Well, it's been great because it's not me leading it. It's a bunch of it's all conferences coming together. To follow up on Jonny, I mean, Bauer has been great for us, an unbelievable partner. This is brand new, so really they're supplying the equipment, the jerseys, the apparel. I mean, this is brand new. Steve Metcalf from Hockey East has been working tirelessly along with Sean Hogan, College Hockey Inc. Everything from travel logistics to getting a logo. So it's been a lot of fun, a lot of work from a lot of people. Really fortunate, the three of us, the three coaches, myself, Mike Souza, Jason Lammers, are to get the fun part. We get to put together a team, and honestly just can't wait to go over there. It's a tremendous opportunity for college hockey, an incredible platform. It's going to be, the tournament is live over 20 countries, including Canada. So there's it's a great platform for college hockey, and it's going to be a great experience on its own, but also a great opportunity for the individuals that get to go.
And Coach, for you specifically, obviously, your career speaks for itself to this point, but the opportunity for you, have you ever had a chance to coach like a Team USA or represent your country as well on a stage like this?
No, this is a first, and I'm really excited. I feel like I watched a little bit of Alex Tracy's interview, and I feel exactly like him. It's a real honor to go at any time. To be a part of the first team is real special. It's an absolute privilege. The experience itself will be awesome, but I also think of it as an incredible opportunity for college hockey. So that's something that the coaches, as well as our whole staff, take very seriously, and we want to put on a good show and make sure that this is something that in the future that college will be able to do.
Yeah, and I'm curious, how much about the Spengler Cup did you know beforehand? And I think we've been trying to sort of educate and talk about it a little bit on our show, because I think we all kind of know a little bits and pieces, but we don't fully know exactly how it works. And so I'm wondering if you could maybe give us just a quick little college degree on what the Spengler Cup is and really what you guys know about it.
Well, growing up in Canada, we know about the Spengler Cup. It's on TV live every Christmas, and it's a great tournament. It's run extremely well. Obviously, there's a lot of players that have played in the NHL and will play in the NHL, so it's a high level tournament. But I think it's the oldest invitational hockey tournament in the world.
It is.
So it's very prestigious. So we know about that in that sense. From going over to actually take college athletes over to play in it, that's brand new. So on it, Colby, I know about as much as you as in terms of anticipating how things are going to go. But I will tell you, the experience itself is going to be awesome. The platform that college hockey has, as well as the individuals, is going to be awesome as well. Every NHL team is obviously represented there, along with all the best top teams in Europe. So it's a great experience, but a tremendous opportunity as well.
And Coach, I want to ask about some of the players that have already been named, because I think there's been 10 guys announced so far, including your own son, Mac. Here are the names: Charlie Serrato, Aiden Fink, two of your own, Matt Gadowsky, not only your own player, but your son, Cole Knuble, Danny Nelson, TJ Hughes, Jake Laviniage, Joey Muldowney, Eric Polkamp, Alex Tracy. I mean, you look at the programs next to those guys' names, and this team looks loaded already. But to coach those three guys, Charlie Serrato, who I actually have spoken a lot about on this show. I got to meet him at the Frozen Four last year, and the energy that kid has, not only on the ice, but off of it, is unlike, a lot of personalities I've seen. You need to have a camera on that guy at all times. He's hilarious. But with Fink and then obviously with Mac as well, how special is it to have three of your own going over there to Switzerland with you?
It's great. It's a great start. So with Aiden Fink and Matt Gadowsky, they were two automatic invites. So everybody that has been an All-American the previous year gets an automatic invite. This team is to represent not only all conferences, but all of college hockey. So with the All-Americans, every head coach votes for the All-Americans in the East and the West. So anybody that was voted as an All-American gets an automatic invite. And for our two players, Aiden Fink and Mac, Though that's where they fall in. As far as Charlie Serrato, I couldn't agree more. That kid, he can play on my team any day because of the type of competitor he is. He's a lot of fun to be around. He competes so hard, not only in the games, but in practices. And it's something I just think he's going to add. He adds a competitive grit to any team that he's going to play on. And if you look at how he's doing right now, I still think he's leading the nation scoring. So it's not that he's, he has a lot more to his game than just compete, but his compete level is as high as I've ever seen. So we're pumped to have him on board.
It's, I was going to mention that, it's not like you're taking, Gadowsky's son. You're taking an All-American who had an incredible season last year and is like a behemoth back there. I mean, the way that he moves, I don't know. He must have got the athletic ability from your other half, Guy, because that kid can move. I skated against him this summer in checking for charity, and I'm like, people that size aren't supposed to be able to skate that well. It's just not physically supposed to happen. So that was cool to get that opportunity to skate against him this summer.
Well, I don't necessarily appreciate the dig on my athleticism, but thanks, Colby. Yeah, I mean, great year last year. He always played at Army and had a great season. Absolutely loves that program. Developed a ton with Coach Riley and Coach Z. They did a great job, and we're very happy to have him now, and really happy to be able to have him on this select team going over to Davos.
Yeah, and let me ask you this question from the chat. One of our listeners, guys, Zachary82, is asking a great question, and it's, can you ask the coach if they'll leave some spots for World Junior players who potentially don't make the team on this U.S. select team?
Yeah, so this is a lot. This is a lot to take on. If you can only imagine this is the first year. So as I mentioned, there's everything from jerseys and logos and training camp and accommodations, but the travel aspect of this is pretty tricky. So I believe we're hoping to have everybody, the team relatively picked somewhere by Thanksgiving, just because of the travel logistics alone is going to require that. So at the start, we pretty well, we want to leave spots if we can, but because of the travel logistics, we don't know how that's going to work with World Junior players' timing. I think it is something that we've looked at, that probably we're going to have an older roster, just because we're going to be playing against, again, pros that have played in the NHL for a while. They're going to be older, stronger men, as well as with the travel logistics, it's going to be tough. But we'll see how everything falls out. As I said, this is the first time going, so that's part of the fun of it.
Yeah, well, it's really. You look at Team Canada's roster every year at the Spengler Cup, it's littered with guys who have played 2, 3, 4. I mean, I remember David Winnick played in that a couple of years. Winnie played in the NHL for 15 plus years. And so those teams are like loaded with older, former NHL players. So, I mean, there is no doubt about that.
I had I don't know what kind of question this necessarily is, but like the jerseys. Are you guys representing? Yeah. Like, are you Team USA or is it like U.S. College Selects? Like what is the jersey going to look like?
Correct. It's U.S. College Selects, and it's something like, again, Steve Metcalf, Commissioner of Hockey East, Sean Hogan, College Hockey. There's other guys. We've got Don Lucia is in on our consultant, so he has a say in this. They've been doing a lot of work, and I certainly don't want to ruin the surprise about the jerseys and the logo, but yeah, everything's brand new. It is a U.S. Collegiate Select team.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, look, we know that you've got some games to prepare for this weekend, so we won't keep you too long. So before we let you go, we're going to have to ask you, there were some names of some players that you were getting ready to announce to the team today. I don't know if they've been told, if they haven't been told, but I know we don't know, and we're looking forward to finding out some of the latest roster additions. So I'll kick it over to you, Guy, and I'll let you tell us who are the newest members of the club.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, I'm pumped about this. We have 2 new players that are awesome. First is Jack Musa from UMass.
Wow.
Played for Carby. Yeah. And Mike Sousa has been, talking about this player since day one, and not just the points he puts up, but how he plays, how hard he plays, and Carby certainly echoed that. So we're really pumped to add him to the roster. And then another great forward Zam Plant, and you talk about, guys that are, played in the Spengler Cup, and his dad, Derek, who's a great NHL player and great college player, is also played in the Spengler Cup. So for those two players to join us, we're pumped. I think the roster is shaping up really, really nicely.
Wow, yeah, those are two nice players. I mean, I know Zam tore up the USHL. I think had like a 70-point season before going into college in Duluth. And then, I mean, Jack Musa, for me personally, Guy, I don't know if you know, but I do color commentary for UMass games. So I've seen a lot of Jack Musa over the past few years, and this kid is as advertised. Also, for him, I know Plant is a Bruins prospect, I believe, but for a kid like Pittsburgh, excuse me, good reminder. But for a kid like Musa, undrafted, has a lot of college attention or NHL attention this year too. Like, will there be NHL scouts at the Spengler Cup? Is that something that they go to?
Every NHL team will be represented there, and honestly, I think this is a great opportunity for someone exactly like Jack, someone who has maybe a little bit of a late bloomer that has come into his own in college hockey and now has a platform to showcase his skills in front of every single NHL team against, NHL caliber players in a great tournament. I think it's an awesome opportunity, and I'm really happy for him. I'm really happy for us because everything Mike Sousa says, it seems that you agree with. So we're really happy to have him.
Jonny has been talking about Musa for a while. This is not a new development for him. I can attest to the fact that every weekend he comes home from doing those UMass games and he's always talking about something that Musa did. And look, a guy who's surviving and thriving under Greg Carvel has good qualities. I mean,
I couldn't do it.
You have to have great qualities as a player to survive and thrive under Carvey, because listen, he's a details coach, and we've had him on the show before, Guy. We think the world of Carv, and so awesome stuff. Look, we're sorry we didn't get to the Penn State stuff. We'll have you back to talk about your team at some point, but we're totally behind you. We're excited to see what you guys do over at the Spengler Cup. We'll be following along, and looking forward to seeing you in Vegas in April. All right.
I love it. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Awesome stuff. Really cool. I'm so pumped that Jack Musa is going to that tournament. I also want to shout out a good buddy of mine, Kirk Keats, who works with Hockey Canada, who's done the Spengler Cup, I think like the last 5 years. He's the one, he's Calvin Pickard's brother-in-law. He's the reason why I have that friendship with Calvin. But Keats, he's gone over to the Spengler Cup a bunch of times, and he could be, even a funny guy we bring on here, maybe if you want Colby to talk about it more. He's worked with Team Canada at the Four Nations. He's a part of the whole process that goes into Hockey Canada, as far as picking rosters go, and all the logistics, I think, of travel and whatnot. So he could be a cool little behind the scenes guest or perspective if that's something of interest as well, Colby, before this tournament really kicks off. And he'll be at the Olympics as well. So just wanted to shout out my buddy Kirk Keats too.
Look, I think it really depends. Excuse me.
Bless you.
If our audience is there was a cough, not a sneeze, but thank you. If our audience is interested in learning more about the Spengler Cup, look, I can sit here and tell you I know about this tournament, but from 10,000 feet, I really don't know the granular details of the tournament other than what we were reading. We were online this morning. Obviously, we were trying to read about the details. So
I've never watched it. Have you watched it? Like, I've seen highlights on YouTube, but I've never
seen it on NHL
live.
Network. I've seen it on NHL Network before. NHL Network has grabbed TSN's feed about it, and shown it on NHL Network before. So I think that I've seen the hockey a little bit before. And listen, I've seen the rosters. I mean, I've seen Claude Julien go coach it. I've seen Jeremy Colleton go coach it. Like, whoever the coach is that's sort of on the outside looking in, that's a Canadian that doesn't have a job, sometimes goes over and coaches that team, right? I mean,
yeah,
a little different this year because the Olympics are happening. But a guy like Pete DeBoer, like, he's not coaching this year. So sometimes a guy like that would go coach. But again, different because of the Olympics this year. And I think DeBoer will be involved in the Olympics. But it is a cool tournament. It really is. Bigger in Canada than it is in the U.S., no doubt about that. But I do think bringing this U.S. Collegiate Selects team, I think a lot of college fans of these players will be way more interested in it than it has been, than they have been.
And again, the point that Coach Gadowsky made about like Jack Musa and what this does for an undrafted college player and the attention that they'll get from this. Like, I think that's so important too. Like, not only do we hype up the kids in college who are already drafted, the first rounders, now the second rounders, but there are so many incredible players who get picked up, out of college that weren't drafted, that weren't, the kids who were lights out at 18, that get to go to school and develop. And then by 21 or 22, like they form into great professional hockey players.
Wait, hold on. I just thought about this. Because I know we have Ray Ferraro waiting. Landon might have played in the Spengler Cup for Team Canada.
I think he did.
He might have. I think I remember that. So why don't you read Ray in? Let's ask him. I mean, he'd be a great person to ask. He's Canadian, and like I remember Landon playing in this event. I think. Don't hold me to it. I think.
All right, so I'll read them in, and then you ask the first question, okay? I'll hand it off to you. So,
all right.
Before we get to Ray Ferraro, I just want to give a quick shout-out from our sponsor, Uber Eats. Uber is enabling fans to maximize their fandom all season long with exclusive game day deals on the app, from game day eats to paper plates and napkins. If you're hosting, to all the ingredients you need to make your favorite game day dip. Before, during, and after the game, Uber Eats is assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. And today's Uber stat of the day, I am not happy to read this. I'm sad to see this player off to this kind of start, and we're going to ask Ray Ferraro about him at some point, but not off the bat. Steven Stamkos right now, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points, -5 through 11 games this season in Nashville, and I feel like the Nashville Predators are a team that have not been talked about, neither has Steven Stamkos. But with that, we'll table that, and I'm going to kick it over to Colby. Ray, Colby, do your thing.
Well, Ray, first off, good to see you this morning. How are you?
Great to see you.
I'm good. Hey, you guys got to get a cough button. I mean, what was that, Colby? I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, not very professional. Not very professional.
No, I mean, don't worry. We don't do them live very often on our pod, but our editor, poor Chris Zabunya, his name is, we call him Zuby, he's got to go through after we tape and edit out all the Dregs' snorts and coughs and all the stuff that he does. And of course, I would never do that, right? It's always Dregs,
never,
right? No. never. So,
but
I'm good. How you guys?
We're
happy to have you.
I'm always fighting something these days with a 1 and a 3-year-old. It just feels like we've got like the rotating, like hacking lung cough in my house these days.
Colby, I got, you brought up Landon. He's got a 20-month-old now, I guess, and
wow,
he goes to daycare a little bit, and when he comes back, he's like a germ sponge. It's like, what are you guys doing? Like rolling around in each other's whatever. Yep. And like, he's always got a runny nose, and we're like, oh, he's so cute. But like, why don't you just stay over there? Like, keep it over there, man.
I'm living that dream right now. But look, I'm sure you heard, we were talking about Landon. We just had Guy Gadowsky on, taking that, leading that college team over to the Spengler Cup. And you know what? I like that it's not just the American players in college. I like that it's just a full, you play college hockey, you're eligible to play for the U.S. College Select team. So I do like that part of it. Did Landon play in the Spengler Cup? Were we right on that one, or did he not?
No, you know what, Colby? He did not. He played in a different tournament. It was prior to the Olympics during COVID, when the NHL players didn't go. So Landon played on the Canadian Olympic team, which was awesome. Just a highlight, of course, for him. But so they took 2 different teams. They took one to a tournament in Sweden, and they took one to the Spengler, and they basically picked the final team out of those 2 tournaments. And so he was at an event that wasn't the Spengler. I know the Spengler quite well. Those kids are going to have an amazing time. Like, you're not, with all due respect to Toledo, Ohio, you're not in Toledo, right? Like you're in the mountains. The tournament is quick though. I'm sure Guy mentioned that. Like you're not over there, and you don't get to kind of play your way into the tournament and feel your way around. It's like you're just in. The arena in Davos is this spectacular. I don't know if when you guys were looking it up, if you saw the arena that they play in.
Oh yeah, it looks sick.
Spectacular. It's unbelievable. And so it'll be a real challenging tournament for these kids too, because the teams they play are all going to be older. They're Canadian players that are all playing pro hockey, in Germany and Sweden and I think they even take a couple KHL guys. But it's an older team, and the Swedes and the Finns, they always have good teams too. And like, it's a challenging tournament, but it will be a experience. Those guys they'll keep with them forever. It's an awesome idea too, I think.
If the U.S. team beats Team Canada, you think we'll get a remake of Miracle?
No. You guys are too young. I mean,
that was sarcastic. That was stupid.
Yes, no, but I'm just saying, like, do you guys? I don't know if people quite realize today the total improbability of the U.S. winning that gold medal. Like, it now, because through the movie and all that stuff, I think people understand. Oh, gee, it was a long shot, but it was improbable. It couldn't happen. They weren't. The U.S. wasn't as good as Canada in that tournament. They just weren't. In Canada, they ended up, their goalie gave up a goal from the other end of the ice that knocked them out of the play-in round, like, somehow. And anyway, the U.S. got rolling, and like, this is why I don't know about you guys, but I love tournament hockey, because if you get hot, like, at just the right time, and a few things break your way, you can get yourself into a place that you would have never dreamed of, like, 10 days before.
Yeah, like I spent a good amount of time with like Mike Eruzione and some of those guys. Jack O'Callahan came around, and they echo your sentiment. As much as they believed, it was a little bit of a pipe dream until they got rolling a little bit. I mean, those guys will be the first to admit it. So, let's.
I was just kidding, by the way.
Yeah, well,
I know you are. I know you
are. No. Our chat's gonna attack me, Ray. It's not about you. Like,
of course. Okay, you got to clear that up. Quick.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to start out in Vancouver a little bit with you, Ray, because I know that you've had some proximity with the television to that team, and you've kind of seen things unfolding over the last few seasons. Adam Foote is a guy that I'm so fortunate that I could say I played with Adam Foote. Like, it's one of the cooler lines that I could lead with in my all but short espresso shot career in the National Hockey League. But what have you seen from him? Because, just thinking about as a 20-year-old being with a 39-year-old Adam Foote as a player, I'm not surprised that he's a head coach in the NHL, because he just had sort of this. He walks into the room and you're just kind of like, oh, I respect him. He has that it factor. So as a head coach now, what have you seen? And do you feel like he possesses the qualities to be successful as a head coach in the NHL?
Well, the first job Adam had when he took over, of course, was to try and repair a season that went off the rails. They had all kinds of injuries to start last year. If you go, like, I'll give it really quickly here. You go right back to last summer. They found out Dakota Joshua was diagnosed with testicular cancer, so he wasn't going to play for months. And fortunately, he's okay, and he's back at it again. And he was a real important player for them. Thatcher Demko, they found out in July, was not going to be able to be ready for training camp. They lost Hronek a month into the season for a month. Then all the JT Miller stuff started. Pettersson had a terrible season, but at that point, it was just a terrible start. And then it was like every time somebody came back and it looked like it was okay, it just went off the rails again. So Adam took over. His first job was to try and repair the vibe around the team. And they came into camp, and things were going really, really good. It felt like they had kind of clicked into the roles that they needed to play. Philip Hedl was healthy and looked really great in camp. Quinn Hughes is, of course, a star, was healthy, and because he missed 6 weeks last year too. So they get in, they look like they're going to be okay. They're a little thin in the middle, they know that, but if you read around the league, there's 46 teams out of 30 looking for a centerman. I don't know where all the centermen went. I don't know why there are not enough, but everybody seems to be looking for the same type of player. So then the season starts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 guys out of the lineup right now. Like, I don't. So Adam's job right now is to try and. They literally have 8 regulars out of the lineup tonight when they play in St. Louis. So he's just trying to cobble together a competitive mindset for their team to play, because they're in the point right now. Like they played, let's see, who did they play? They played
They just played the
at
Rangers
home. They
on
played,
Tuesday.
yeah, but they played Montreal on Friday. Played a really good game. Ended up losing 4-3. Really good game. The next night they beat the Oilers. Or that was Saturday. Sunday they beat the Oilers. Terrific game. Really great game. They played really well. Now they get to Tuesday, which is 3 games in 4 days with 7 guys at that time out of the lineup. Then they lose Garland in the middle of the second period, and they lose to the Rangers. That game was a dud. Like there was just for either team, like there was zero that really went on. So now you're like, okay, so we're 5-6. We got 8 guys out of the lineup. You can say that's fine. But Adam's job's to try and, is there another gear somewhere or do you just have to hope your goalies play really good till you can get a few guys back? Because the trip starts, none of those 8 are on the trip.
Jeez.
They're in St. Louis. I mean, like, so the Abbotsford, Ryan Johnson, by the way, who I'm going to give him a quick little shout out. If you've not met Ryan, he's one of the great people in the game. He's going to be an NHL GM. Like he's terrific, and he's running the team in Abbotsford, and I mean, just short of a roll call to try and find players. There's 8 other guys that are in Vancouver. It's a really, really difficult time. You know the old thing: injuries aren't an excuse. No, sometimes they're just a fact.
Well, yeah. In that case, do they even have like? I don't want to say is their season over before it even started, but like, how do you dig yourself out of a hole like this when you are dealing with that many players missing from your lineup?
Well, I think, Jonny, if they end up at some point here 6-17, well, then their season's over.
They're doomed,
right?
Yeah,
So,
doomed.
Yeah, you're finished. If you can stay around 500, like just somehow tread water. They're hoping for Hughes, I think, this trip. They're hoping for Garland, I think, this trip. Bluger, I don't think, is too far behind. I mean, he's one of their best penalty killers. And you might go, oh, Teddy Bluger, but he's a legit penalty killer, third, fourth line guy who kills penalties, he's an NHL player. They've got half of their team, literally right now, are guys with under 50 games in the league.
Yeah, wow.
And so it's like, I'll tell you, just like from my perspective, and Colby, like you had a shorter time, so you probably felt like this a lot, is that like you're just hanging on by your fingernails.
Oh yeah, survival.
And every time you make a mistake, you go, man, they're going to send me down. That's 100%. It. I'm done.
Yeah.
And it's the best place to play is when you can get past that hurdle and you screw up and you go, you know what? I screwed up and I'm going to get another shift. They got a lot of guys that don't feel that right now. Another thing, like they signed Evander Kane or traded for him in the summer. He's got no goals. He's kind of like on the Stamkos stat line right now. And like, you can't, if you're a team, you can't play around that hole. Like you're expecting something from them. And they just, he hasn't had it yet.
Ray, at that point, you are avoiding eye contact with just about every person that has any say in the organization. You're not, I mean, literally, you get done a game and one of the coaches is walking. And I remember, like, even Sylvain Lefebvre was the D coach in Colorado. And it would be like, I would just want to put my head down, look at my shoes, because if they looked at me and I made eye contact, I was going to get the, hey, Joe needs to see in his office. And it's a complete, you're on eggshells. Like you really just are. Yeah. And that's it's totally a fair point. And you're going to get mistakes when that's how you're playing. It's difficult. And you're
let me give you a little other side of that though, is like, I look at what's going on in Chicago and San Jose, and they have no expectation, nothing. So those young kids, they can play and make mistakes. They don't have any scar tissue yet. They haven't screwed up enough that they've really made a mistake that's cost their team in a playoff game or anything like that. Like San Jose's playing ball hockey right now.
Yeah.
It's like 7-6, 6-5.
Free.
Man, it's so free. It's so fun.
Yeah.
There'll be a time when things will clamp down. Chicago's the same way. They got all those young guys there like Nazar, and he's having a blast. He's just flying around. Bedard gets his first hat trick the other night. But there's a time where that's not going to be good enough, and their expectation will get more. We'll get more on them, kind of like these kids in Vancouver. They just want to inch their way into the league, but the team is trying to make the playoffs, and that's two very different things.
I had a good laugh with Ryan Warsofsky the other night after the overtime win. We were texting back and forth a little bit, and he's like, "This team's aging me pretty quickly." I said, "You better." You better make sure you're hydrating, pal, because this is not for the faint of heart. Like he was, and I said, hey, but a win's a win. A win's a win.
Yeah, take it and run away.
Yeah, I mean, listen, San Jose again, like they're a team. Even last year, we talked about them. Like, even if they weren't a good team, they were a fun team, right? And I think that's like what Chicago needed this year. We actually talked with Frank Nazar this summer, and we told him like, hey, last year, like people in the media, fans, they were all saying San Jose, good vibes, Chicago, not so much. But Chicago's really turned that around this year. And again, like it's weird actually hearing you talk about it, Ray, with the pressures of the younger guys. Colby and I have talked about like development and, certain guys who have their chance, but don't necessarily take hold of it. And then they're back in the AHL. And, these are guys that you expect a lot from, but every single situation is different, right? Like in Easton Cowan in Toronto, a Brendan Othman in New York, those are different situations than, these kids in Chicago and San Jose, but it's hard to really maintain that perspective.
They're really, those are good examples because Easton Cowan, he gets a highly thought of prospect in Toronto because they've had that, since the core four, which is now 3 since Marner's gone, since they were all drafted, and there hasn't been much in the way of young guys to be excited about because they traded all their picks away trying to be a really good team, right? And that's unfortunately the way it goes. So Cowan, they're like, he doesn't start the year. He had a really good camp. He doesn't play early. Then they put him on right wing with Matthews. Well, they're not putting him there and thinking that, you could just ease your way into this. They need a player there, but he's not a player yet. He's a player, of course he is, but he's not a legit NHL player yet because he's still, when everything to him is completely upside down. And it wouldn't just be East Cowan. It would be any young guy that's playing with older players. You walk into the rink and you're not on your toes. Like you walk in, you don't know where the dressing room is. You find the dressing room. You don't know where you go change. You don't know where your sticks are. Like everything is, you're not settled into any routine at any point. And I remember as a 20-year-old just following like sheep and just following the guy in front of me. And then I get on the ice and I'm like, I think I'm a pretty good player, but then you look around, you're like, oh my God, all these players are really good.
Yeah.
So when you're on in practice, like you pass it into the star's feet and you're like, oh my God, he's never going to talk to me again. Like it is amazing the insecurity that comes out. And so these it's different. If you're a young guy on a team with pressure, like Othman would have, like the Rangers, there's pressure always there. There's always pressure in Toronto. There's not pressure in Chicago or San Jose right now. Even to a certain extent for Columbus, those guys can just play for Dean Evison, and Dean pushes them to play fast and quick and aggressive. That's a great way to play. But as you get older, the expectations change. The mistakes aren't as forgiven because you're trying to get to the top point of the needle, right? Right. At the end, you're at the bottom of the pyramid. You're just trying to climb your way up a little bit.
It is funny too, Ray. Like you're bringing up some examples, and it's kind of like it's setting off some bells in my brain. And we started with footy, right? I was so lucky, like playing a preseason game with him early on, because he went so out of his way to make me not feel that way. And him and Jonny Lyles, actually, I'll give them both the love for that. And it did give you this sense of like, okay, you could take a deep breath for like 5 seconds. It didn't last, but at least you could take a deep breath for a few seconds. And then on the adverse, like I remember playing a preseason game in my second year with Zdeno Chara, I have never been more stressed out in my entire life than playing a preseason game with him, because he demanded perfection, and he was never a dick about it ever. He just wanted to raise your level, and that was his way of doing it. But
Right.
boy, was that stressful, Ray. I mean, I remember getting done a game in Montreal that I played with him, thinking to myself, oh man, I hope they put me back with Seidenberg if I get another game. I was just on eggshells that whole game.
Are you guys at all soccer fans?
No.
Not really.
No. Okay. So a few years ago, LAFC brought Ibrahimovic over, and one of the great stars.
I know that.
Right. I remember this.
And,
I remember when he came.
Yeah.
Okay. So he came over, and we met after a game. We had a chance to go meet him, and he was like amazing with the kids. My kids are now 18 and 15. We're like little guys then, and he was awesome. But we were talking to one of the assistant coaches, and they're like, oh my God, is that guy demanding? Like at training, some of the younger players were coming in and, they play 7-side games, and they're like, don't put me on Ibra's team today. I just can't take it today. Because if, the year before, some of these guys are playing at USC, and now they're playing with one of the world's greatest players. And he was like, Chara, he was like demanding. And it's all, you got to figure it out, and there's not anybody to hold your hand and nobody to feel sorry for you. But holy, I think this is one of the things that people wouldn't understand unless you're in the pot, like how hot the water is, because this is your dream of your life. You're there, and at no point do you feel comfortable. You can't even enjoy. I didn't even enjoy the first, I don't know, year and a half in the league. I was like, all I could think of was, oh my God, that other centerman just scored 2 goals. They're gonna like him more than me. And somebody, I'm looking in the American League at the guy scoring there, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be the guy out. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh wait a minute, I got 23 goals in the NHL. I'm probably okay for a bit.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I gotta say too. I mean, well, Colby, I was just gonna say also, like, now you're seeing that stuff happen in college too. Like these high draft picks come in, and I can tell you, I don't have any NHL experience, but I felt that way that you guys were talking about in college. Like I knew there was a freshman coming in that was going to take my spot. I knew all that stuff. And, the pressure of playing with a 4th overall pick, a 2nd rounder, like all these different, things now you're seeing in college. It's right there too. It's not just the NHL where these kids are nervous,
Jonny, I was at Penn State 2 weeks ago. My son's, he's redshirting there. He's a soccer player, and so he's a freshman. He's having a great time. I think everybody that goes to that school, we went in there and for Parents Weekend, and I don't want to say by Sunday morning he was happy to see us go, but I think it was kind of like we're kind of cramping in on the style a bit. But I went to first time I was in Pagula Arena. Oh my God, what a place! Like first of all, like the facilities. It's not like Guy is walking around there and, having to try and find where the tape roll is. I mean, the facilities are spectacular. So I'm there and I'm watching Gavin McKenna, really closely. And he comes on the ice, takes one lap, and I'm like, oh my God, does he look little? Like compared to the guys that and he's not little. He's just thin. He's just young. He's barely 18 years old. And so they were playing Long Island, who are older, generally speaking, an older team. And you could instantly see the difference that you're talking about, that the guys you're playing with some of them are, they've got the kid that's a 2nd round pick, Ferraro, I think you say his name.
Yep.
In Carolina, man, he's got an engine on him.
Oh yeah.
That line looked way better. Now this is one night. That line looked way better than McKenna's line. And you're like, oh, yeah, well, they're all older guys. They've all been here before. McKenna's when he got on the power play, he was super dangerous. But you're like watching him, and I wouldn't have picked him out of the crowd, put it that way, at 5-on-5. And but that's one night, right? But I'm like, yeah, but he's barely 18. Like the people that thought he was going to go there and get, 75 points or whatever, it's just not going to happen. It's like he needs to get his feet on the ground a little bit, and the style
him.
okay, go ahead.
Celebrini or Eichel, and that's the unfortunate thing that we do,
Right.
even though no two players are the same.
You know what he's got? It's funny you bring up Eichel, and he's got a little bit of that in his skating. Like you know how Jack looks so carefree when he skates, and I would say quick hands in tight, like Zegras a little bit. Like it's funny. I just did Zegras' game the other night.
We're gonna ask about it.
We heard.
And he made this play to Michkov in the middle of the ice, and I was like, oh my god, that's why everybody drools on Zegras. Like why he's so good, right? He just makes a quick little hands play, and boom, it's Michkov was in. McKenna's more of that style, I would say, like that, graceful style, where Celebrini to me is as close to Sidney Crosby style as we've seen since Sid started. I mean, the engine, the temperament, just the drive of the game. That's Celebrini to Crosby. So when you're comparable for me, when you're comparing to like the players, they're near the same. They're different. They're going to go about what they're doing differently. Put it that way.
Mm-hmm. So
Colby,
since we're talking about the young players, Ray, I'm curious. Like, this was sort of a topic that I've sort of been wanting to bring up and talk about, because we always are going back and talking about Lafreniere all the time because of Jonny and his Rangers connection. And did we lose him, Vic? I don't know. We might have lost him. He looks
frozen.
He looks frozen on the screen. My question to Ray was going to be like, because we've spent so much time talking about surviving and being a young player and this and that, like, at what point is a young player like no longer a young player? You know, how many games in the league until we can sit here, Jonny, and we can say this is who they are, right? I mean, again, there were other things I wanted to ask Ray, but I feel like we just.
I think Vic will bring him back in.
We just walked to that point, kind of on our own. But this is a guy who's down between the benches for all the biggest games in the NHL. He's been around this game. He played and had, we know Ray's career was tremendous, and he's got the personality obviously to go with it. But and I think we did lose I think his connection froze up, so we probably actually won't get a chance to go back to him, Jonny. But
I'm sending Vic his number quick. 1 second.
That's fine. But that was kind of what I was heading towards. And chat, like, let's hear from you guys in your opinion on this. And Jonny, maybe you want to hit one of our reads that we still have to get to while we're kind of flushing this out. But that was my sort of theme that I wanted to go to is when do we know, like, when do you get over that hump of like, I'm not just in survival mode? And then once you're not in survival mode as a young player, when is a player what they are? There can always be an outlier season, but how many games can we, till we stop saying, oh, like, they're going to grow into it, right? And there's obviously not a one size fits all approach with every player, but just in general, like, for you guys as fans, as from your teams and the players you like to watch and follow, what would you say would be that number of games or seasons, or, maybe it's an age, maybe it's not any of those other things, Jonny?
I think it's different, but before I give my answer, I will give a word from our sponsor, Parasso, the most complete choice for shaving and beard care, made in Italy since 1948. Parasso has been a staple of Italian culture and barbershops globally for 4 generations. So get 15% off at parasso-usa.com with our promo code hockey15 and in all caps hockey15. And Colby, I don't think this conversation is as black and white as you're putting it, right? Because you have Connor Bedard, who's probably played 200 games maybe, or around 200 games at this point. Obviously, I guess less than 200, 82 and 82. I don't know, his full game total, but if you can look that
160.
up. So 160 games, like, he's still a young player. And again, like, let's say a 23-year-old making their NHL rookie year debut or season debut this year plays their first 82 games this year at 22, while Bedard is still 20. Like, I'd say the 22-year-old is just as young as a 20-year-old Bedard. Like, I think we can't look at it by games played, because guys enter the league at different times. And no matter how highly touted you are, when you're 18, you're not going to be the same player that you are at 25, So
Well, didn't we
So
used to,
I think
I feel like we
what
used to say, Johnny, we'd say,
300
oh,
games.
like, no, we used to say a forward gets into their prime around 25 and a defenseman is around like 27 or 28. I do feel like
Mhm.
that used to be like sort of a blanketed statement of time for these guys. And listen, I saw New York Marine, I think in the chat said 29 years old for Kreider. Yeah, I don't agree with you on that because in his third year, he scored 21 goals. I mean, and then his fourth year, 21, and his fifth year, 28. Like, and then he went to 16, but he only played 58. Then 28, 24, 20. Yes, he had a 52 goal season. That's the outlier. And then since, yeah, he's really understood his identity and he's gotten good around the net because he had 36, 39, but then he went back down to 22. Like, you're looking at a guy who balances out at 25 goals. And you're okay. I see you were mostly joking, but I think just the point that is, and he came in as what? He was probably 20 years old when he came in because he played a couple two seasons at BC, and then he joined the NHL right away. But listen, I think Ray makes a great point. Like, you're just in survival mode as a young guy. So when you're in survival mode and there's the pressure of being on a good team, it's difficult. Brad Marchand, I've said this before on the show. I'll say it again. The guy was on the fourth line his first year in the National Hockey League for half the season. Then he got to the third line. Then he spent a whole nother year on the third line, right? It used to be different the way that these players were broken in. Now it's go, everything, quick, power play. We need young players, the money, it's cheap, production. So it does make for an interesting topic, and it just might have to be a situation where every GM looks at it a little bit differently, and maybe the next time we have Kyle Davidson on or a general manager, it's an important topic that we need to bring up.
Yeah, like the young players thing still I am trying to like figure out in my own brain, right? Because I wouldn't say like it's hard because Lafreniere is an experienced player, but he still is a young player. You know what I mean? Like he's 24, right? Like 24 is young in the NHL, Like, do you not agree with that?
Yeah, I do. But when you came in at 18 and you're in your sixth season, your number definitely isn't this like you're an old 24-year-old at that point.
For sure.
Sean Couturier did this. He came in at 18 years old. By the time he was 24, it felt like he played 30 years in the NHL. You know what I mean? And he had a shitload of miles on his body.
That's like Wyatt Johnson right now. Yeah, Wyatt Johnson's 22, and it feels like he's been around for forever already.
Yeah, exactly. So listen, I think it's not a one-size-fits-all approach, but everybody has a little bit of a different viewpoint on it, and I think Ray illustrated it pretty well about sort of like how you feel as a young player, and brought up some good things. Go ahead, Johnny.
Well, I think Ray is back. That's what Vic just said.
Sorry,
so
guys,
let's bring
not
Ray
really
back
sure
on.
what
Hey, you're
happened.
good. No, you're good. We're happy to have you back.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard any of the conversation.
Yeah, about Lafreniere.
Just in general, like it does, when is a player, Ray, who they are? Like, and I know it's not one size fits all, but just like, because we always talk about Lafreniere, like he's in his fifth, sixth season. He's coming up on 400 games, and we're still like grasping for hope. I just wonder at what point are we not? You're an old 24-year-old when you're in your sixth year in the league, no?
Yeah. Unfortunate in that regard because the first couple of years you were literally spinning your wheels. You make the team. You're 18 or 19 years old. Good for you. It's awesome. You make lots of money, but you don't really know what the hell you're doing. And those years count as experienced years, right? And so the 28 goals he scored 2 years ago. That easily could be a high watermark for him, right? Like I don't see why he can't score 25 goals. Like I don't see it. I don't think he sees the play great. Like he's not a creator, but he should be able to play on a top line and get himself to the front of the net. He's strong. He's a good skater. I think he wants it. Like I think he wants to be a good player. Like some players they just seem content to be what they are. I think he really wants it. I just there doesn't seem to be room for him to get on the power play. That's always going to be 3 or 4 or 5 goals for you if he can. Where now are you? What you are? I don't know. Okay, here's a great example. What if you said it had to be by 24 or 5? Then you would have thought Zach Hyman's a 15 goal scorer.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. And then you're like, well, what he's not, right? And so
Nuge too.
Right. And so it's all Nuge is a great example because when he played as an 18-year-old in Edmonton. That's when they were in the run of all the getting first overall all the time because they were so bad. He was built like a 14-year-old. And his first year, he fell into the boards and dislocated his shoulder. So there's 1 year gone. The next year, well, he's just barely moving. There's another year gone. Right. And so, yeah, those years don't really count, but they do because they're on your hockey card. So I think there are things to consider. One is the player, whoever he is, at 18, 19, and 20, was he drafted because he was the physically most mature player or because he was the best player? Like, I think there's growth for Gabe Perreault because he's not the physically strongest guy. But if you look at players that were drafted who were big and physical and they just bully the game, well, they're not going to do that at the NHL. It's just not the same. And so there's different different layers of growth. Now, I don't know how long ago it was, 20 years ago or whatever. Malcolm Gladwell wrote The Tipping Point, and he talked about he wrote a chapter on maturity, basically, and he used the Canadian Major Junior Hockey League. And he went through and he did all these statistics. It's an amazing thing because 25 years later, he went and redid the experiment, and it's pretty much the same thing. And basically, it's if you're born in the first 3 to 4 months of your draft year, you're going to get drafted higher. It's the same in college for students. If you're 3 to 4 months older at that time, it's a big deal. At my age, what the hell is the difference, right? You just want to be upright.
Yeah.
And so so players get drafted, and I don't know that. I think it's different now a little bit, but I think scouts get mesmerized by the physically mature. And if you think of Lafreniere, he was physically more prepared than most players when he was drafted. That doesn't always mean you're going to be the best player. Like, I'll give you another example, like Wyatt Johnson.
Yeah, we were just talking about him too.
I don't know how much that guy weighs, but when he came in at 18, he had played 7 games in his draft year because that was COVID. And so he gets to training camp, and I remember talking to Pete DeBoer about him early in the year, and he said he was going to hide him in his trunk so Jim Mill couldn't send him back to junior. He goes, this kid, he goes, he's just ready. He goes, I don't get it. He's like, he's young and small, thin, right? Really thin. And so, but Wyatt Johnson wasn't drafted as a physically mature player. And so he has more road to grow. So it's a little bit different for everybody, but I'm telling you, at 200 games, if you haven't figured the league out, I don't know when you're going to figure it out. Like 200 games is 2.5 years. Like, not that you have to be your finished product, but you should be on the way to seeing what you should be at that point.
Yeah, no, it's well said. Ray, we want to thank you again for your time this morning, and sorry about the mishap there, but we love having you on the show.
We got to do it again. We will get to Stamkos. I will say, still undefeated is Father Time.
Yeah,
undefeated.
Except for Sidney Crosby, he seems to be defying.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, it pissed me off. We didn't get to talk about the Philly game too.
Yeah,
because that was a wild in overtime. For like, there were 2 goals that didn't count.
It's crazy.
There was the scrum at the end, which, by the way, nobody in the arena knew what the hell was going on because they didn't make any announcements. The only reason I knew Crosby was out of the shootout, I saw him saying to a linesman, "Are you effing kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me?" And then I saw him, I go, I think he's out. And then he went down the tunnel and I turned and they were hauling Zegras off the other bench. And I'm like, well, they should probably announce that at some point. Like that was a miss by the league, the arena, whoever, like that they weren't there. I would say it's probably fair to say Noel Acciari will remember getting punched in the back of the head twice.
Oh yeah.
I would think he would remember. And I did laugh because, well, I just laugh at circumstance, not at people. But when Zegras gave him those two pops and Acciari popped up like a bobblehead doll and started coming at him, I don't think Zegras expected him to get up that fast. And I don't know what flashed before his eyes right there, but it was like, I hope this linesman stays here.
Yeah.
Because this is not, Dave Jackson was, our rules analyst. He was joking before. He's like, yeah, Ray was really good. And as long as there was somebody between him and whoever he was chirping at, as soon as that guy left, I didn't like that. That's
a bad match.
That's not a place for me.
For Trevor Zegras. Acciari is not that is a bad dance partner. That guy is one of the more honest, tough guys. I think that I don't know if people realize how tough of a customer Noel Acciari is. He's not. That's a bad pick of the litter for Z. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
So
what do they?
What
does Spit and Chiclet say? Game notes. Colby Armstrong. Game notes.
Yeah,
know your game notes, man.
Know your
But he's like, you better know who you're poking on the top of the head there.
Go the stat line, baby. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right, Ray. Thanks for stopping by today, and say hi to Kevin Dean next day. You're over at the Canucks.
I will for sure. One of the best. What a great guy. Guys, we'll do this again. Hopefully, we'll get through the whole thing. And thanks for reaching out. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Ray. See you next time you're at the Garden.
You betcha. It'll be soon. See ya.
See ya. Awesome stuff. I love that now on our new platform when the guests go, they're still like here and we like hear their voice. It happens every time. Yeah.
Like the voice of God.
Exactly. Colby, we still have a couple of order of businesses to get to. So before we move on here, and I'm gonna wrap the show up here pretty shortly, but I do want to give a quick word from our sponsor, Prime Monday Night Hockey. Prime Monday Night Hockey, I always struggle with this one, streams all national regular season Monday night NHL games on Prime Video in Canada and is available free to Prime members in Canada. So check this out.
Monday on Prime. It's legends versus legends in the making. Penguins, Maple Leafs, Monday at 7:30. Prime Monday Night Hockey. It's on Monday. It's only on Prime.
So check out the link in our description for Prime Monday Night Hockey's schedule, or go to primevideo.com/NHL. Also on Prime Video, you can watch Face Off Inside the NHL Season 2, which I have raved about. Again, the Kachuk episode, and even seeing Shane Pinto on there was really cool, and watching the behind the scenes of Four Nations and the fight and how everything broke out between USA and Canada on that Saturday night in Montreal was really cool to see. So subscribe with a 30-day free trial to Prime Video and watch Monday Night Hockey and the new season of Face Off. Download the app or go to primevideo.com. Any final thoughts, Colby, just about what we've seen this week in the NHL? The Zegras thing we can kind of stick on. Like I feel like a lot of people were hating on Trevor Zegras for what he did, saying it's like a bitch move. I saw John Scott actually praise it. And again, like if you're Zegras, like anyone who knows Trevor Zegras knows he's not going to fight. So if he can piss people off that way, like why not piss people off that way? Like I don't necessarily like what
it was a little chicken.
It's chicken shit. It's chicken shit, but it's
listen.
But if it pisses off your opponent, it works.
I don't mind if you do something dirty. It doesn't bother me. Like as long as you don't injure someone. Like you want to stick a guy, but like face him. In my opinion.
Also before that, Colby Forster got Wotherspoon on the back of the legs with a chop. Like that's kind of what started it.
Doesn't bug me. Like sticks in the back of the leg, little spears, like little. But like, sorry, this Jonny, that me, that's that. I'm so far as okay. So far from okay with that. Like, listen, good to see you have a guy who like wants to be involved, but like, come on, that reads chicken shit to me all day, every day. You that's not. I'm not subscribing to that whatsoever.
I do think Acciari though had like his forearm on like Forster's head before Zegras knocks his helmet off. No.
Listen,
can we watch that again?
I don't really care what happened when a player is down on their knees and their back is to you. To seek them out and to swing at the back of their head is nothing more than chicken shit. Like, that is it. There's no other way.
Dude, he's on top of Forster.
There's a ref right there. What, like, I mean,
there's two Penguins on one. There's two Penguins on one.
There is an you don't hit a player when they're down. First of all, you don't swing. Once the refs are in and guys are laying on the ground, you don't swing. Especially you're standing above him. Pull him off by the back of his jersey, square up with him, and fucking fight him. But, like, I'm sorry. You can't defend a chicken shit play like that. That's not defendable. Come on.
John Scott did it. And John Scott was one
I don't
of the,
agree with him. That's fine. Everybody can have their own opinion. No problem. But, like, that's a chicken shit play. What did John Scott say?
Let me find the tweet. He just said, sorry, 1 second. I saw it yesterday. John Scott said, sorry, my Wi-Fi is a little out here. He said, I know Zegers is getting some flack, but I like this. Showing some intensity that maybe we didn't see with the Ducks. His guy is getting 2v1 and he jumps in. Good on you, kid.
So jump on, put your arm around him and pull him out of there. Like, again, you're punching a guy in the back of the head who's down on his knees. Like, I come on. Yeah. Like, listen.
Yeah. Well, one of the replies is he looks just like Phil Kessel when you tried to kill him.
Who? When John Scott tried to kill him?
Yeah. I think Kessel two-handed him right in the shin pads, and John Scott was gonna try to kill him. Yeah.
All right, let's get to our last hit here, Johnny, and let's tell everybody to have a nice weekend. All right.
Yep. So as everyone knows, our last order of business is our bet of the night, presented by Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 19 or older. So download the app and get in on the game. What was our bet last night? Oh yeah, we hit Columbus money line last night. So our bets keep hitting this week. Missing what's going on in the chat right now, but our bet tonight will be the Carolina Hurricanes puck line -1.5. They're home taking on the New York Islanders. Carolina, as everyone knows, is one of the best home ice teams in the NHL. They've only played 3 games at home this year so far. They're 2-1-0. The Islanders have been on a little bit of a skid here. The last couple of games, obviously, we talked to Stefan Rosner yesterday about Ilya Sorokin. I wonder who they'll start in net tonight, either him or David Riddick. But Carolina at home, I feel like it's always a safe bet. And you got to think they'll find a way to get that empty netter or cover this -1.5 at plus money. So we're going with the Hurricanes tonight.
Okay.
11 games tonight. Lots of games.
All right. Well, and with that, this will be our last show of the week. Make sure you hit a like button on your way out the door today. Make sure you're subscribing to the Daily Faceoff YouTube page. Don't miss DFL at noon. Don't miss the sheet at 1 p.m. We're about to cross a pretty good threshold and a month, an overall monthly record for our audio only downloads. So we can't obviously do that without you guys, unless Vic is hiring a bot farm to download our show on audio, which we know he's not. So we do appreciate that. And we've asked you guys to sort of have our back with comments and likes and audio downloads. And we're super appreciative that you all do that stuff. So make sure you get those automatic downloads going on Spotify and Apple Podcast. We want to get over that number and get over that hump we're looking for as we start hoping for, a couple 100,000 downloads a month. And so again, can't do any of that without you guys. So we are grateful. When the show ends, don't be afraid to leave a comment in the YouTube. Those are important. We try to follow along with the live chat, but we don't necessarily see everything. When you leave the comment in the YouTube, it gives us an opportunity to go back to it. So we are asking you guys to do that more, and that'll help build our shows for the following day. So with that, Johnny, I hope you have a good weekend. I don't know if you're calling any games this weekend.
Yeah, going out to Omaha for the USHL. I'm doing 2 games in Omaha.
You'll be doing some USHL work this week, so make sure you follow Johnny on social media. And for the rest of you, there'll be plenty of content across the DFO YouTube page for the rest of today and tomorrow. And we will see everybody, as we always do, Monday morning, 9 a.m. Have a good weekend, everybody.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Morning Cup of Hockey here on the Daily Faceoff YouTube channel. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. And don't forget, we've got more great hockey content every day. You can catch DFO live at noon and stick around for the Sheet with Jeff Marek at 1 p.m. right here on Daily Faceoff. Until then, keep your coffee hot and your takes hotter.